Game 2 of the longest homestand of the season is underway for ice hockey at UCSB as the Gauchos look to break a 4-game losing streak, facing an opponent for the first time in program history as the Santa Clara University Broncos are in town, and they're looking to pick up a win after suffering a tough loss their last time out. Well, hi everybody, Eric Evelhoch with Kyle Nicolas here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network from the Snyder Rink at Ice in Paradise in Goleta. And Kyle, for ice hockey at UCSB, after opening the season with 2 consecutive wins over Santa Rosa Junior College, it has been 4 straight in the loss column, losing 2 up in Oakland to the University of California, 1 in Burbank to UCLA before their most recent game, a 7-4 defeat at home to the Chapman University Panthers. And you can make the argument that in 3 of those 4 games, ice hockey at UCSB could well have ended up on the proper side of the results if they got just a little bit more.
And this season so far for the Gauchos has been an interesting situation in that, exactly as you say, the team has played very well through at least long stretches of most of the games in which they've lost. So they have been a competitive team so far, but one of the things the team has really kind of struggled with so far has been putting together an effort where they really keep the pressure up through all 60 minutes. They've only really managed to do that one time, and I would argue that was the second game they played here at Ice in Paradise, where they faced the Santa Rosa Polar Bears. And even then, there were some special outstanding circumstances in that game, considering the opponent they were playing was playing their 3rd game in 3 days, all of them on less than 24 hours of rest. So for UCSB here, it's kind of come as essentially somewhat of a method for the team to really come together and really sort of bond and kind of figure each other out and really gut check themselves through what's been a very difficult stretch of the season. The Pac-8 schools are very difficult opponents to play against. They're by no stretch any sort of a pushover. So the Gauchos have dealt with some adversity, they've dealt with some difficult situations, they've dealt with some trials. Now that comes the time to take all those experiences, put them together, and hopefully come out for the best.
And head coach Scott Hires has turned to the hottest stick on this UCSB team. Mitchell Poliuso will center the top line tonight between Justin Golzer and Jesper Damgaard. What's Poliuso done this season? Just led the team with 7 assists, 11 points, 4 goals, averaging nearly 2 points per game in the 6 games thus far this season for ice hockey at UCSB. He also has 2 of his points coming on the power play, and seeing him up top, maybe this is the spark that is needed, as well as also sticking the supremely talented Cooper Spears on the second line betwixt brothers Kevin and Kyle Mooney.
Well, we've always marveled for so long this season about having the depth of Mitchell Poliuso and Justin Golzer, using them in a depth role where they seem to have really thrived against lines where pretty much this whole season long the opponents haven't been able to really keep up in terms of the matchup of second or 3rd line versus 2nd or 3rd line. So this time, having them playing the big line matchups, it's going to depend on how Coach Scott Hires wants to deploy them. But I would have to say this is a huge reward for a line that's been extraordinarily consistent all season long. Mitch Poliuso putting up a lot of points. Justin Golzer seems to just be making a killing of a living right in front of opposition goaltenders this season. It seems like he's good for roughly about a goal a game in what we now know as Justin Golzer's office, right in front of the goal crease right there. So seeing that be the top line tonight, I think is a just reward. It's well deserved, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle this new responsibility.
6 goals this season for Golzer. Half of them have come on the power play for ice hockey at UCSB. But another thing that this coaching staff, Hires with assistants Steve Hines and Ben Brecker, also have to their benefit tonight is, for the first time since the opening weekend of the season, the entire host of players on the roster is available for ice hockey at UCSB. That means defenseman Eric Evelhoch, who has not played since the opening weekend against Santa Rosa Junior College. Yevgeny Slisenko, who missed the game against Chapman. They are both back, and they are going to allow Ice Hockey at UCSB to roll 3 defensive pairs this evening in front of Nora Penn.
3 defensive pairs and 4 forward lines. We did see in that opening series when we last had this situation that the ability the Gauchos have to consistently just throw wave after wave of depth and offensive scoring firepower at opponents makes it so difficult, especially for traveling opponents, to have to defend coming off a bus. Santa Rosa had a very difficult time with it in the first meeting here, and we have a similar situation in tonight's opponent with the Santa Clara Broncos, who traveled today down here to Ice in Paradise. That's a good 4-hour drive, as we experienced when we went up to Oakland. Fatigue in the legs coming off of a long bus ride and a lot of travel can play a huge factor in a team's performance. So with the Gauchos having the depth, they've got an advantage here this evening.
But if any team UCSB is going to play this season may be able to handle that sort of travel, it is this Santa Clara Broncos side. They pride themselves in going out, taking on long road trips, having gone to the Midwest, having gone to Idaho in recent seasons. They come into tonight's contest with a 2-2-1 record, opened the season with a 4-1 loss at San Jose State, suffered a 10-2 wipeout against the University of California.
Well, I think the Gauchos know something about big losses to Cal.
But since then, back-to-back wins over UC Santa Cruz, who the Gauchos will see later this season. That was a 12-2 final, as well as a 12-1 win over San Francisco State. Their most recent game, a 3-2 overtime loss at Snoopy's Ice Rink against the Santa Rosa Junior College Polar Bears. One thing to keep an eye on, Kyle, in this game for Santa Clara is they are making the jump, much as Santa Rosa Junior College is, from the ACHA's 3rd division. So you wonder how they'll be able to acquit themselves against an ACHA Division II side. They do regularly see opponents like San Jose State University. How will they handle the Gauchos in their first meeting? It's only a matter of moments till we find out.
Well, lest we forget as well, the Gauchos are making a jump not necessarily from ACHA Division III, but from the NCHA last season, jumping up to the much more diverse and broader ACHA this season. So it's a similar difficulty, I guess you can say. So for the two teams, I guess you're going to say you're not going to get a whole lot of sympathy or love lost on either end for that one as well. But as you mentioned, this is a team that regularly saw other ACHA Division II talent last season from a number of different areas. I know they did play the Michigan Wolverines when they traveled to Chicago last season. I got to watch a little bit of that while preparing for the game earlier this afternoon. So this is a team that's used to playing ACHA Division II talent. The Gauchos really starting to try to find their footing in ACHA Division II. I'm expecting a pretty level matchup, particularly, as you mentioned, with how used to travel the Santa Clara team is.
Let's find out the center points of focus for tonight's contest. Our 3 keys, courtesy of Center Ice Santa Barbara, a brand new hockey and figure skating showroom located in Goleta, just minutes from Ice in Paradise. Visit on the web at Center Ice SB, center spelled the Canadian way, or by visiting 7127 Hollister Avenue, Suite 8 in Goleta. Give them a call at 805-770-7970.
So tonight's first key of the game that I'm going to put down is the team needs to just keep their mentality going through the full 60 minutes. Now, for pretty much every game since the opening series against Santa Rosa, the Gauchos have started strong. Their first periods, we've mentioned several times, are fantastic. They usually come out of the gate swinging, and they gain control of the game early. They need to make sure, though, that they can carry that through to the second period. Keep the mentality strong. Don't grip the stick too tight, and don't immediately start thinking in the back of your head that, okay, when's this going to start falling down on us and when are we going to start collapsing? It's not a matter of if, when. It needs to now become a matter of if for the Gauchos. So they need to hold strong, keep the mentality through the entire game, through the second period, and keep the good, strong shifts going.
And I think that ties in nicely with your second key for the game.
Second key for the game is going to be we need a full 60-minute effort from this team in all 3 zones. For the Gauchos, it doesn't matter necessarily what's going on, what the score is. They just need to make sure that they keep playing their game, they stay focused, and that they stay determined and hungry.
And key number 3.
Key number 3, this team plays its best hockey when it is forechecking strong. Keep that forecheck and pressure on in the Santa Clara zone. This defense will cough up pucks and turn them over, the Gauchos just capitalize on that right there. So if they can keep that forecheck going for 60 minutes, I think they have a good chance here tonight.
Keys to the game, center spots of focus courtesy of Center Ice, Santa Barbara. As the crowd continues to file in this evening here at Ice in Paradise, the Snyder Rink, this beautiful facility in Goleta. Have to admit, Kyle, a little bit surprising not hearing assistant coach Ben Brecker or one of his opera students a bit taken aback by that.
I'm a little sad, actually. You know, we always hear, we talk about, we compare it to like the Rene Rancourt type thing, but I mean, it's just something else hearing a established and professional opera singer when he belts out the national anthem here. So hopefully we hear that again tomorrow when these teams meet again.
Gauchos in their home whites with blue pants, numerals blue trimmed in yellow. Santa Clara black uniforms with red shoulders, white and red stripes, white numerals trimmed in red with black pants. UCSB will skate left to right across your radio dial. For those of you joining us on MixLR, mixlr.com/icehockeyUCSB. Pauliuso out there with Damgard and Goldser with Piagai and Vieira on defense. Nora Penn getting the start for the Gauchos. For Santa Clara, it's a line centered by Akshay Agarkar with wingers Colin Curran and Kyle Perez on defense. Philip Park and John Winchester. The goalie is Frankie Nix as the Gauchos come out firing, buzzing the front of the net. Official loses sight of it at the far post, and so a face-off coming in the offensive end very early. The Gauchos bearing down and getting in on this Santa Clara team, Kyle, which has had a tendency over recent years to give up a lot of shots and really work their goalies.
So Frankie Nix will hopefully be busy here this evening, and the Gauchos can keep peppering him with some rubber.
Second line out there for the Gauchos is Kyle Mooney with a hit, knocking the puck free. It'll be sent back deeper, though, by Curran for the retrieve by Cameron Lafleur, assistant captain for the Santa Clara Broncos. Agarkar is the team's captain and president, and will skate it out up the left wing, back-checking pressure from Spears, enables Slisenko to wedge it free for him, and now Gino will take the back pass. Slisenko feeding for Kyle Mooney in up the left wing, dips the shoulder, curls around, throws it to the slot, broken up at the last second by Brendan Boardingham. Gauchos will chip it back in, but Boardingham there to pick up, and his pass cannot connect at neutral ice with Dakota Binniger. Sent around the net, UCSB possessing in their own end as Slisenko stretches it forward for Kevin Mooney. Stood up at the line as the Gauchos look like they're caught between line changes here. Shot from the point, pad save made by Nix. He is a goofy-handed goalie, blocker on the left, trapper on the right. First time the Gauchos have seen one of those goalies this season. Of course, Grant Urosco from California Lutheran, one who they saw many times last season, as the icing will end up being neutralized and now be held at center ice, perhaps? Discussion between the linesmen here.
I think the linesmen are going to be discussing. The Gauchos were in the midst of a change when that icing was going down, and that may be the reason why they were initially going to wave the icing off, but the linesman who made the call didn't quite get that memo. So good call by the officials. Go ahead, just take it at center ice.
Barone out there with Lawrence and Herlihy. wins the draw. And Barone will send over for Herlihy. Plays it in up the far wing. Nix stops it up behind the net for defenseman Philip Park. Park sweeps it around near corner. Vinegar. Pair of Gauchos checking on him as Barone knocked it free for a moment. He's being pinned to the boards. Continue to dig, and Herlihy finally wins it free. Sent around to the far corner where Lawrence picks up. Back to the line, and Hunter Van Duzer just can't hold in. Stretch pass ahead for Herlihy. Shot from the top of the near circle. Screams wide of the right-hand glove of Nix. Along the far boards, it's backhanded ahead. Chipped out as Cameron Burke will give chase for Santa Clara, but Herlihy sends it back in for the chase. Gets through Winchester. Puck won by Akpish, who's centering the fourth line tonight for ice hockey at UCSB. A lot to the perimeter so far, board battles about getting the big bodies out there and making things happen for the Gauchos as Piagai can't hold the far point.
And if there's going to be a lot of board battles this game, you're going to start to see that favor the Gauchos later on, as those are stamina-draining battles.
Over the line, Winchester chips it behind net for the chase. Piagai played it to the near corner, bodied up there. Curling shot, save made by Penn as she denies Winchester from the near side boards, and the puck comes out neutral ice. Piagai shoveled it forward, sent back by Dominic Colcio. Piagai for Vieira. Played 3 minutes and 50 seconds here in the first period. As Piagai, high forecheck pressure established by Santa Clara forces the pitching wedge to get it out for Pauliuso. Couldn't control, and Park plays it forward. And up the near wing, shot stick save made on Pauliuso. Damgard tracks down the rebound behind the net. Pauliuso had it swept away. Lafleur able to move it forward for Vinegar. Gauchos reset in their own end. Pressure coming from Aiden Rubert. Pass played along the near side boards for Pauliuso. And he'll backhand it in and give chase as Park takes a big hit on the play.
And Goldser's going to go for tripping on that one.
Looked like he may have got the knee out on him. So
I think that's exactly what it was.
And the touch-up made by Eric Evelhoch.
Just a hair too late on that hit.
Power play of the game comes to Santa Clara with 15:07 to go in the first period.
Goldser had him lined up in the tracks, but unfortunately missed that check by just a split second, and that meant it was a leg-on-leg collision. Wound up taking out the Santa Clara player, and Justin Goldser's going to sit for 2 minutes. A bit unlucky, but at the same time, you got to when you line those hits up, you got to make sure you land them. Otherwise, something like that can happen. It's not unheard of. So Gauchos with a big penalty kill here early.
Garkar has the puck pitched away from him as Nix will come back. Headhunter, look out, linesman. Kick forward by Kyle Perez. Comes back for Park. Jag Lawrence making a pest of himself on the forecheck, but it's chipped in for Colin Curran. Curran spins away from the Valois body contact, but UCSB able to get the shootout up the near side boards. 30 seconds killed. Left back for Burke. Park returns it to him off the outside of the cage. Switch pass behind Kyle Perez. Touch forward and into the zone by Curran. Van Duzer spins it around for Lawrence. Dangerous play as it came to the slot, but ultimately backhanded out and down.
I think Lawrence for a split second there forgot that his team was shorthanded. Not a pass you want to do while you're down a man.
Lafleur couldn't pull the trigger on the pass, so he'll skate it out of his own end up the left wing and chip in for the chase by Blounce. Can't muscle it through. Switched across. Van Duzer can't clear under pressure from Boardingham. Sent back to the line. Slapper blocked wide. Boardingham sends back to the point for Winchester. Takes the return. Hit shot. Penn may have got a piece of it. Kicks back to the point for Park. Park. Whister to the side of the net. Penn makes a pad save, and the Gauchos have killed off the first power play of the game for Santa Clara. And out of the box, here comes Cooper Spears. Had it chopped away from him from behind by Park. Santa Clara will reset. Back into the zone for Winchester. Park will stab it forward. 12:45 to go first period. Nothing on the boards yet. As the shot from the line easily padded to the corner by Penn. First meeting between ice hockey at UCSB and this Santa Clara program. Very disciplined within their lanes on the forecheck. But here's a break in for Spears. His shot, save made, rebound still sitting there, and Moody's denied by Nix. Kevin Farboards for Pia Guy at the point. His shot changed directions. Spears picks it up behind the net. Played forward with a hand pass that's legal in the defensive zone. Kevin back to the line for Vieira. Kyle will give chase behind the net. Curls with it along the outside boards to the top of the point where he finds Vieira. Mister from the near point, save made, rebound, and Nix has it underneath his right pad.
And a good shift from the Gauchos' second line, that high skill line with the Mooney brothers and Cooper Spears. Expect them to be a threat all night long, as the three of them really seem to gel a lot in that last game against Chapman. They are all good players, smooth skaters, and deceptive stick handlers, so some good offensive pressure from them.
Gauchos win the draw. Slisenko shot, pad save made by Nix. Cosio battling forward alongside the boards, knocked it free for Achpish, who backhanded it behind the net. Herlihy to the slot, stubbed wide by Achpish. Dogged work from this fourth line for ice hockey at UCSB. But Benninger able to get it out. Slisenko traces and retrieves in his own end. Gets to the line, but it's blocked and shot back in. Slisenko. Area pass off the near side boards, led a little bit too far for Colcio. So John Winchester, San Jose native, played it forward for Colin Curran. Slisenko steps up on the overpass and shoots it back in. Park takes a hit, but able to move the puck out. And Aiden Rubert, with Lawrence on him, switches for Park. Hyman. Pretty breakout. And here comes Perez. Perez shot blockered away by Penn. Cleared back to the high slot. Gaucho's able to chip it free. Shoveled pass across. Lawrence couldn't get the stick on it off the feed from Barone. Played behind the net by Park. Off the sideboards. Sent away by Curran, but only as far as the red line, where the Gauchos will shoot back in. More than halfway through the first. Boardingham. The far side boards. Come back in on Burke. He plays for Park along the near side boards near neutral ice. Blount blocks it, comes in on Penn. She's able to stub it wide. The pressure. Receiver. Cleared to the line, Park holds. The Gauchos able to play it forward, Damgard. Damgard taken down with a heavy hip check by Cameron Burke. Goldser back behind the net for Park. Goldser wins a puck battle, sends it back to the line. Vieira. Area pass picked off by Park, but Goldser hips him down. Vieira from the line, high tip play by Pauliuso, skips to the far corner. Good pressure from this first Gaucho line. Vieira switches for Piagai. Riffs on the wrister, switches over to Vieira, top of the near circle. Goldser thrown to the slot, Pauliuso just couldn't connect. And Boardingham will skate it out. Gets the red line, takes a hit from Piagai, and on the second effort, able to roll it into the Gaucho end. Goldser, area pass, and unable to hold in on the far side boards. So, we will have a face-off in neutral ice in front of the Gaucho bench.
And the Gauchos doing very well in the early territorial battle here in this game, getting a lot more possession in the offensive zone of the Santa Clara Broncos for this one. They're going to do that over again, as it looked like Kyle Mooney jumped a little bit before that puck was dropped. But so far, so good here from the Gauchos, including a very good penalty kill as well. Not a whole lot of offensive zone time for Santa Clara on that one. And what time they did have, the Gauchos limited the opportunities.
Backhanded in. Curled to the slot. Chipped wide as Piagai switches it around. Along the near side boards, it's sent to the far for Kyle Mooney. Mooney stops at the top of the circle, gives to the late trailing Kevin Blue Attire. Chance for a breakout here for Santa Clara. They elect to angle in. Mooney along the far side boards. Couldn't get it through the man. And now the Broncos will go for a change. Cooper Spears, leading goal scorer for the Gauchos. 7 in 6 games, gave it up for Kyle Mooney and got it back. His shot pad save made. Kyle there to retrieve. Get the puck to Kevin. Kevin worked it behind the net. It taken away from behind by Winchester. Skated forward by Perez. Valois under fire from Curran. Gets it to the line, but not out. On the second effort, the Gauchos have drawn a penalty. Kevin across the slot to the trailer. Slapper save made by Nix. Rebound. Herlihy battling for it behind the net. It'll ultimately be touched by ACHA Division II. And the Gauchos to their first power play with 6:39 to go in the first period.
And a good breakout is what gives the Gauchos this opportunity, as they were able to leave the zone with speed. A good play by Eric Valois in order to move that puck quickly and efficiently from low to high in his defensive zone. Allows the Gauchos to get over their blue line with speed and forces the trip from Santa Clara to get the Gauchos their first power play of the game.
Andrew Seitz sits for 2. As the Gauchos to the man advantage. Spears. Shot. Save made. Rebound spat by Nix. But Boardingham clears. Nix is used to making a lot of saves for this Santa Clara team. Had a high of 66 stops last season in an 8-1 loss against Northern Colorado.
And again, the same thing. He allowed 8 in. That was 66 saved shots.
Gauchos having trouble exiting their zone against the forecheck. But Goldser will wing it around the boards. Piagai had it but lost it. Pauliuso behind the net. Park couldn't wedge it free from him. Gets it back from Goldser. Sosenko back for Pauliuso. Shot pad save. Nix gets to the far corner. Goldser dancing to the slot. Tried a backdoor feed for Spears. Well read by Carl Grasick. But Spears still has it. 40 to go on the penalty. Spears trying to pass across for Pauliuso. It's broken up in front of the net and cleared the length of the sheet by Philip Park.
Good, strong defensive stick. Gets it just on the opposite side of the pad. The goaltender did not stop that pass going across his crease, but his defense there to bail him out from what would have been a sure goal.
Kyle Mooney over the line, lost the puck, but it came for Vieira. Andrew takes the return feed, skies this one in. Nice stick by Nix. Clears it, and it's sent forward and out by Agarkar. Winchester's shot, and Penn makes the save as we're back to 5-a-side.
And a very well-organized penalty kill from the Broncos on that one as well. The Gauchos getting a lot more time in the Bronco end on their power play here in the first period, but the Broncos doing very well to keep as much as possible out to the perimeter, keeping sticks in the passing lanes, not allowing anything through easily, and really not giving the Gauchos too much in the way of good opportunities other than that one that was really a big bailout by Park.
Rupert Mooney will do the draw again. Cal wins it this time. Valois moved it for him and switched to the near sideboards for Kevin. Carries in up the near wing. Pirouette play. Vieira throws it to the front. Blocked to the far boards. Kyle to the line. Slapper stung the man in the high slot. Vinegar. Gauchos move it around. Akpish off the outside of the cage. Area pass for Kyle, back to the line for Valois. Rister looking for the high tip, lost for a moment, but Rupert able to angle it out off the sideboards. Fresh troops over the boards for the Broncos as Kevin takes the hit from Burke to move it behind the nets. Park for Boardingham. Rupert. Boardingham knocked off the puck. Gauchos play to neutral ice. Santa Clara maybe a little bit lax on the change there.
I was going to say, a little bit lucky to get away with that, what would have been probably a too many men on the ice penalty there.
Send it the length of the sheet, and this goes for icing. 3:05 to go, period number one.
Well, so far in here, coming into the late stages of the first period, Santa Clara showing very little of the fatigue effects that I talked about in the pregame show. They seem to be very good, very smooth on their feet, and have a lot of energy. They are a quick team for the Gauchos to have to deal with, and we did see the speed that Chapman had last game. The Gauchos doing a pretty good job of standing up to this one, but for Santa Clara, a pretty solid start.
Grassick over the line. Slap pass off the end boards. Lavarado picked it up. Blind backhand of the slot intercepted, and UCSB comes away with it. Jaguar Lawrence couldn't get through Park, but held at the line by Hyman. Ultimately cleared. Roan wedged off it at the blue line. Big hit delivered by Herlihy. Park stretched it. Couldn't connect with his man. Forward skates Santa Clara. Shot. Penn makes the save. Puts the rebound to a safe area. Puck comes out front. And Rupert couldn't get it on net. They jam away. And Nora makes a couple of nice saves and holds. And we have our first how do you do's from both sides.
And these are important to pay attention to because, as I mentioned earlier, remember these two teams will be playing a back-to-back here this weekend. This being the first game, they will be meeting again at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. So the little things will build up over time. And, you know, physical altercations like that do tend to have an impact on the way teams play, not only for the remainder of the night, but they do tend to carry over into tomorrow as well. I think we're going to get coincidental minors off of this one, so the referee trying to rein this in early, make sure he keeps control of the game, and I think that's a good way in order to do so. Make sure that there's going to be none of these little silly altercations after whistles.
Trying to get the number of the Santa Clara who sits down. I believe that's James Blount.
Yeah, that was James Blount for UCSB.
I can't really see the number either. As a defender, defending Penn's honor, as it's angled out for Kyle Mooney. Carrying into the zone, Vieira drops back for Kyle. Pass across the shot, a little bit behind. Shot save made by Nix on the pad. Rebound! And Kevin shut down once more. Nix has been as advertised early for Santa Clara.
Fantastic save for Frankie Nix right there. Unfortunately for UCSB, that pass to Kevin just a hair behind him, so he had to reach back quite a ways with that stick. Couldn't get the release away quickly. He did well to get as much on it as he could, but by that time, Nix had the chance to reset and get in the way.
Off the draw. Kevin, a late driller in the slot. Piagai just put it wide of the glove side. Wins the puck back in the near corner. Tried to get it to the net front. LaFleur cleared it away, now wedges him along the end boards. A second of differential between 4-on-4 time and the end of the period. Kyle draws a penalty along the far side boards, but gets in free. Draws and shoots wide of the stick side.
Oh man, he's going to go back to the locker room and rue that miss.
Pass back across the slot. Piagai had it chipped free by Winchester, and on the touch, here comes the penalty call with 56 seconds to go in period number 1.
Kyle bashing his stick on the ice right there. He knew he had half the net to shoot at, and he just missed the post by about 4 or 5 inches there. That's one that he's not going to miss that very often, but so far, that just kind of seems to be the way the game has gone a little bit for both teams really so far. Passes kind of just seem to be missing sticks or bouncing over. Nothing's going tape to tape, and guys just seem to be missing by a little bit. So
a lot of ice out there now, as it'll be 4-on-3.
And the Gauchos, assuming nothing changes, this will carry over to the second period, so they will start with a 5-on-4.
Spears won the draw to the line. Piagai's slapper blocker to the near corner. Vieira gives it up for Spears. Shot! Save made by Nix. He flips the rebound out to the near point. Vieira retrieves there. Gives up for Spears. 35 seconds to go first period. Slapper, save made! Rebound to be shoveled out by Burke. Vieira back to retrieve. Scored 2 goals last year, did Vieira. Spears now in shot. Nestles safely in Nix's glove as the Gauchos go to his kitchen, but nothing cooking there.
And Nix has been extremely solid through this first period. We like to talk about when we do our podcasts, we have this thing we like to call the Price to Hasek scale in terms of the way a goaltender plays in their style. Price being extremely efficient in their movement, not a whole lot of flopping around. Hasek being exactly the opposite. Nix showing some great control and movement here in this first period.
Shot the stick save by Nix, denying Goldser. 10 seconds as Pauliuso gives up for Valois. For late arriving Pauliuso, can't pull the trigger. Park is there to moot it. And Santa Clara sends it the length of the sheet to send us to intermission with no score on the boards. I believe, Kyle Nicolas, that is the first time such a feat has been accomplished here in the 2016-17 season for ice hockey at UCSB. A scoreless first period.
I was going to say, not the first scoreless period. The second period last game against the Chapman Panthers, there was no score in that one either, but not something you commonly see here in the ACHA, knowing the amount of offense that happens. Now, granted, we did see a game on the out-of-town scoreboard earlier, the CSUN Matadors dropping their first game of the season to the Long Beach State 49ers, that coming by a final score of 1-0. But those games are exceedingly rare. It's not uncommon to see games with an average of 9 to 10 goals apiece here in the ACHA Division II. And I believe we are going to have the first intermission chuck a puck as the pucks rain down onto the ice from the crowd here at Ice in Paradise this evening, something that we do at every single home game and gives you a chance to win some fantastic prizes. So if you haven't been out to a game yet and you're here in the Santa Barbara area, we strongly encourage you to come on out. It's a great way to get some entertaining hockey at one of the highest levels for college here in the West Coast, and entertaining and budget-friendly family fun, as adults are only $5, students are $4 with ID, and children are free.
And of course, it's one of the many things that Ice in Paradise offers. Of course, circle your calendars for December 17th as Ice in Paradise presents their holiday skating show. World-class skaters with kids from the skating school as well, putting on 2 shows, one at noon and one at 5 p.m. Make sure to make plans to join us on December the 17th. 2 shows, noon and 5 p.m. for the Ice in Paradise Holiday Skating Show. Was talking with rink general manager Larry Bruyere before the game today, and was real excited about the caliber of skaters, as I perhaps should be better set to say, but it's one of the many programs offered here at Ice in Paradise. We certainly hope that you are around to check that out in town for the holidays. Some more fun, free, cheap family entertainment here at Ice in Paradise. Well, Kyle Nicolas, since we don't have any scoring to check out on the Center Ice Santa Barbara scoreboard from that opening period of play, how about we take a look at the action from out of town?
Well, from out of town this week, we have a few different scores. One game currently still going right now. The last I heard, the Chapman Panthers were actually leading their team that they have not beaten in several years, the California Lutheran Knights. And the last I heard at the first intermission of that game, the Knights were trailing Chapman by a score of 2-0. That game should be coming pretty close to the end here. Other games that have happened so far, the Loyola Marymount Lions fell to the San Jose State. I don't remember what San Jose State's mascot is.
They would be the Spartans,
The Spartans, that's right. I never remember what they are because their Twitter feed does not have the Spartans on there, just says SJSU Hockey.
And as we have made mention, I, being a Midwestern boy, still so incredibly weirded out by the fact that a team named the Spartans is blue and yellow.
It's a little bit odd for a Michigan man, right?
I still cannot find the mental space to accept that, though I know it to be true.
Yeah. And that game has become final as well. It was an 8-5 victory for San Jose State, despite the fact that LMU actually went into the third period leading 4-2 in that game. San Jose State coming out with a 6-goal effort in the third period to put away their opponents. I believe that game was played up north in San Jose as well. So kind of a quiet night here in California for ACHA hockey. Not a whole lot else going on as well. One other kind of significant out-of-town score from a West Coast team, the UNLV Skatin' Rebels is what they go by, fell to the University of Arizona's Division I program earlier this afternoon out in Tucson. So kind of, like I mentioned, kind of a quiet day in the ACHA, so that will do it for your out-of-town scoreboard here. And as I mentioned, these two teams will be at it again tomorrow, so there will be more scoring tomorrow.
Well, maybe, depending on how that first 20 minutes of play goes.
Oh, come on, you're not anticipating this one staying 0-0, right?
I heard a 1-0 final on that out-of-town scoreboard, Kyle. Anything
Did
can
you
happen
also
in the
hear all of my
ACHA.
saying that is exceedingly rare in the ACHA?
It is, but it does bring us to a point of something that you and I were both talking about before the game here. This is a league where limited competitions, more often than not, if a goalie has what statistically looks like a rough night, it kind of has the ability to mess up the numbers going forward for the remainder of the season. You know, doing so much of the preparation, we've seen that Santa Rosa Junior College has had goalies where maybe not their best effort, but they still end up facing a ton of rubber and end up allowing a ton of goals.
Or even if they do have a relatively good effort, but they just face a ton of rubber and give up a ton of goals. It just sort of happens when you have some of the differences in skills between some of the teams here in the ACHA.
One of the things that we had wondered about was Nora Penn. Penn, I think you could make the argument in every single one of the Gauchos games this season has been one of their best players on the ice. She's certainly given them the opportunity to win on most evenings, coming out and getting the dub in her first two contests.
I would say she's definitely done everything in her power to give the team an opportunity to win. There have been a few efforts that have gone out there where I would argue that her as a competitor and a goaltender would probably think that she needs to come up with a few more saves, but at the same time, she's done everything in her power to really backstop this team and has done very well so far this season.
And you look at her current numbers, a .632 goals against average, an 80.3 save percentage. What would happen if you remove that 11-1 defeat against University of California from Friday, October the 14th from her season stats? Well, it takes off almost an entire goal in her goals against average with that game removed. Through 5 games played, 291 minutes and 23 seconds of action, her goals against would drop down to 5.35, and her save percentage would shoot up to 83%. Now, that was a game where the Gauchos defensively,
not very good.
She may as well have been a scarecrow out there. She may as well have been a nice pair of pants, a blouse just hanging on the clothesline.
Let's not sugarcoat it. It was not good.
So, with that in mind then now, Nora continues, and it seems like she is in the spot for a goaltender's duel tonight. What do you want to see from her, and what have you seen from her so far that shows she'll be that reliable goalie between the pipes for ice hockey at UCSB?
It's a little bit hard to say right now, because if we're talking what we've seen from Nora, the answer is going to be not really a whole lot. And that's mostly due to the fact that the defense in front of her did a fantastic job limiting Santa Clara and not giving them a whole lot of opportunities. Their best one, I believe, coming down at the end down there where Nora had to make a couple stops in tight. But really, that was the only opportunity they had, whereas on the other end, Frankie Nix has had to come up with, I would say, at least 4 or 5 top-quality, blue-chip 10-bell saves. Nix, the far busier of the goaltender, and as you mentioned, no stranger to taking and seeing a lot of shots every single game, has definitely proven himself to be worthy of the task in the duel. Now it's up to Nora on the other end, who may not be as busy, to stay focused and make sure that she holds up her end of the bargain in order to make sure that when Santa Barbara is doing their best to shell Nix on the other end and try to get some pucks through him, that one doesn't come back down the other end and somehow squeak its way behind him, or behind her, I should say. And at that point, those can be big deflating goals for ice hockey at UCSB if one of those finds its way in there, especially considering how much of the game they're controlling, to suddenly not be rewarded and then actually to be hurt by it. Those can be really impactful plays during games.
And those, of course, call back to 2 of the 3 center focuses for the game, keys to the game, if you will, courtesy of Center Ice Santa Barbara, brand new hockey and figure skating retail showroom in Santa Barbara County, located in Goleta, just minutes from Ice in Paradise. It's the premier destination in Central California. Find your hockey and figure skating equipment and apparel. Visit them in person at 727 Hollister Avenue, Suite 8 in Goleta. Call 805-770-7970 or visit them on the web at Center Ice SB. Center spelled the Canadian way. That's CENTRE,
like the Center Bell in Montreal.
Boy, what about what happened to them a couple nights ago at the hands of the Columbus Blue Jackets? All of a sudden, they started playing an ACHA game.
It looked an awful lot like the Gauchos looked in their first game against the Cal Golden Bears up in Oakland. And yeah, it was equally as not pretty if you are a Montreal Hab fan.
Santa Clara, of course, the opponent tomorrow, as we've made mention on the broadcast. It's a 4:30 start. Santa Rosa, Saturday, November the 12th, and Sunday, November the 13th, comes calling. Both of those games are 4:30 starts. For more information, visit the official home of ice hockey at UCSB on the web, www.ucsbhockey.com. Kyle, there is a real knowing between Santa Clara and Santa Rosa Junior College. Of course, as mentioned, the 3-2 overtime game that the Polar Bears were able to take away from them on a Josiah Nickel goal with just under 5 minutes remaining, or just under 5 minutes played, I should say, in that overtime session. What's your sense when you look at the way that the teams played, especially considering they're both local to that Bay Area, San Jose area? What's your sense on what you've seen from Santa Clara through the first period of play?
They are definitely a faster team than what we saw with the Santa Rosa team. Now, granted, we saw Santa Rosa relatively early on in the season, and teams tend to grow, adapt, and really kind of get their game together as they get more games under their belt. So what I'm expecting to see when Santa Rosa comes back is the same physicality, but maybe a little bit more in terms of a team being a little more well put together. We are seeing a very strong defensive performance so far here this evening from Santa Clara. They are keeping their sticks in the dangerous spots of the ice. They're not letting the Gauchos get those passes through to the front of the net like we're used to seeing. The Gauchos really like to go from down back behind the net right out in front, and they haven't been able to complete any of those passes. The one time they were able to get that pass through into the low slot, it was a little bit behind Kevin Mooney, and he had to reach back a ways in order to bring it into his wheelhouse and get that shot away in order to get it onto the net. And it did give Frankie Nix a chance to get across and get the pad there for one of his best saves so far here of the evening. So for the Gauchos, keep the course, keep going. This is I would argue, a very similar look to the first time we saw the Polar Bears, aside from the fact that the Gauchos didn't come out of this one leading 3-0 after the first period. But at the same time, it's going to take the same level of determination. It's going to take the same level of focus in order to pull this one out as well. That was the last time I think we saw a really genuinely close game through 60 minutes. So the Gauchos do have a little bit of familiarity with this one, but now they need to really put what they've learned into practice in order to come out on top here this evening.
There hasn't really been that edge, if you will, that we saw develop over the course of the first two games against the Santa Rosa Junior College Polar Bears. You know, it was funny talking with Santa Clara head coach Brian Gray in his 6th season before the game. Certainly with the Broncos seeing the Polar Bears as often as they do, how does the phrase go? Familiarity breeds contempt. And
I think we saw a little bit of that last season with just judging by another local here that Gaucho fans will be familiar with, the Cal Lutheran Knights last season. A little bit of familiarity breeding contempt, and now that rivalry has developed since the Gauchos were able to take 3 of the 4 meetings between the two teams last season. We are yet to see them for the first time. We will be seeing them, I believe, in about 2 weeks' time, roughly, for the first matchup down at the Isoplex in Simi Valley. But very much the same type of thing. When you do get a local rival, you tend to play them as hard as you possibly can. And if you're a relatively local hockey fan here in Southern California, it's very similar to what you see with a lot of the Anaheim LA games over the last several years, in that it really doesn't matter where the two teams sit in the standings. They are always hard-fought, close, gritty, in many cases nasty hockey. They can get pretty physical pretty quickly, let's just put it that way.
And of course, California Lutheran sporting the Forum blue and gold classic uniforms, something that we've seen so often over recent seasons as alternates for the LA Kings. Los Angeles, of course, celebrating their 50th anniversary this season. Kyle, they came out with a gray uniform. And I must say, I'm curious, what's your take on LA going gray in season number 50?
Not a big fan of gray. They've never really worn it as a primary color, so I don't know why they're using it as a 50th. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of a classic throwback with the white and maybe like a chevron alternate logo like they were back in the late 80s, early 90s, kind of the heyday of the Gretzky era in LA.
104 of power play time for the Gauchos, who will skate right to left across your radio dial here in period number 2. It's the Moonies out there with Christian Ockpish as the forwards to begin it. And Kevin steams across the slot, shoots, and a nice save made by Nix. Boy, Kyle, he is so strong at getting off his line, cutting down the angle, and having pucks stick to him.
And he's not an overly large goalie, listed as 5'11", so fairly decent size, but he does know he has to come out of that crease and cut off the angle in order to really prevent those high-skill forwards from getting good quality shots in on him. So good aggressive goaltending takes a lot of confidence from a goaltender in order to do well. So far, Nix has shown a great aptitude to do it.
Back to the line for Vieira. Will switch to the near side point, Valois. Kyle gives up for Kevin. Back to Valois. Pirouetting at the top of the near face-off circle. Kevin dips a shoulder and will take it behind the net. Back for Vieira. Shot through traffic. Tip to the near side corner. Cameron Burke, they're battling a pair of white shirts. Kyle tries to knock the puck free for Kevin. Pass. Kyle waited a touch for it to come to him. Now Valois for Kyle. Pass, backdoor shot. Nix the save. Rebound on the second try, and he makes another stop.
Excellent lateral movement from Nix.
Kyle from the line. Gives it up at the top of the near face-off circle. Switch to the far. Valois. Pass through Kyle. Sends it deeper into the corner. Well, Philip Park will come up with it. Stabbed out from the line by Boardingham. Boardingham carries in, drops to the slot, unable to pull the trigger. Rupert. Kyle skates ahead with a head of steam. Dances, pass, backdoor! The shot goes behind the net. Craig Miller plays it forward, but Goldser intercepts.
Late offside call?
Whistled dead. 2:03 into period number 2. Still searching for our first goal.
I think that's what it was a delayed late offside call from the linesman on that one. It looked offside to me, but I was a little confused, so I guess that is what they ultimately decided to call. A little bit of extra jostling there as Justin Goldser tries to get a little bit of a positional advantage on this face-off.
Gauchos control the draw, swept into the zone by Goldser. Quickly played back out. Miller for Rupert. Sent back. Winchester switches to the near point. Lafleur. Van Duzer back to retrieve. It's Goldser who will connect with Poliuso off his skate into the zone. Giveaway in the slot. Damgard drags. And I don't know if he got the shot on.
I think he did, and that was another great save from Nix.
Big hit in the high slot. Santa Clara wants a call, none forthcoming. Shot from the line. Save made by Penn. Damgard battles for it along the near side boards. Hood knocked over. And now the Gauchos will look to sweep it out, but it's held in by Lafleur. Lounce spins it around to the near side boards for Damgard. Gets it past Kyle Perez and back into the Santa Clara zone. Pass ahead, too far for the target along the near side boards. Lawrence on the backhand, couldn't get it through the black and red wall. Guy sweeps the puck from near corner to far. Vieira along the far boards. Held in at the point by Seitz. Vieira plays it off the glass, and Seitz trying to hold the point. Ended up chesting it into his own bench.
And a little bit harder to hold the point by pinning it up against glass that is not exactly there. So kind of a soccer out of bounds type thing. I wonder if they're going to let him take this as a throw-in.
At least it's not like Snoopy's ice rink up in Santa Rosa,
where there is no side glass all the way around the rink, except for behind the nets.
What is this, the original 6 era?
Just some classic return to some old-time hockey. You know the team that plays there, Santa Rosa. Definitely not shy of playing like maybe the big old, big bad Bruins of the 70s.
Old-time hockey, Eddie Shore even. Lawrence played across the slot. Hyman tries a breakout feed for Barone. Instead, found the shin of Agarkar. Went into the corner. Held in at the line. Heavy hit delivered. Gauchos didn't like that one from their bench as Piagai back up and able to pick it up. Shot through traffic blocker, saved by Nix. Now the hate is coming as Barone puts it high over the top.
Just lost his balance at the last second, almost put it on net.
Perez couldn't get it through the Gaucho defense. Lawrence, a blind backhand pass to the slot, intercepted. Dumped in on a fluttering shot by Phillip Park and makes the save. Here's the home run pass that's chipped in defensively by Brendan Boardingham on a nice play because the Gaucho was behind him and would have been in alone.
I believe that was Christian Hockfish too, who in his first game back had an absolutely wonderful effort last time out against Chapman. Immediately came back into the lineup after that 4-game suspension and became an impact player for UCSB.
Scored a goal in his first game back, did Hockfish. Broncos control in their own end. The activation by Slisenko. Looks the Gauchos maintain. Valois shoots to the near corner. Holds the attempted clear at the near point. Hockfish. Slisenko with it. Walks down. Shot. Save made.
About 5 feet in front of his goal crease as well was Nix on that save.
Valois skates back into his own end and it'll play the corner, swept around by Calcio. Herlihy can't get it out. Bounces behind Penn to the near side corner. Slisenko on the intercept. Herlihy. Head gets through Calcio. He'll give chase to Park. Sent to the line, not out. Fluttering wrister by Herlihy from there is handled with ease. 13:59 to go in period number 2.
And the Gauchos dominating the large portion of this second period here. No reward as of yet, but very solid effort here early on in the second period as well. Taking to heart maybe our second key of the game, playing a full 60-minute effort. Let's see if they can keep it up a little longer.
Van Duzer from the line off the Spears face-off win, and it sticks to the chest protector of Nix.
And when you have a goaltender who's playing as well as Nix is here in the second period so far through this game, you need to get a little bit more in the way of traffic in front of him, because a shot like that from the point where he sees it all the way through, that's probably not going to beat him unless there's some sort of just a complete fluke play.
Spears chased from the face-off circle. Kevin wins the draw to him. Takes the return feed in the far corner for Kyle. Along the end boards behind the net for Spears in the corner. Spears tried to play it to the line. Intercepted, but Rupert couldn't skate it out. Kyle takes the hit to get it deeper. Kevin returns it to him. Sends back to Van Duzer at the line. Kyle, pass across, shot, flutters wide by Spears, may have been blocked in front.
Waited just a little too long to let that shot go.
Spears centers for Kyle, touch pass for the late arriving defenseman, save, rebound, score! Well, that's about what it was gonna take for the Gauchos to collect the first goal of the game, but how about that? Kyle Mooney doing his best garbage man job, picking up the loose change in front and batting home the goal for the Gauchos, his third of the season.
Sometimes in order to get a puck behind a hot goaltender like Nix is playing tonight, it takes a dirty, ugly goal like that one. Nix letting out a rebound on what I believe was a second shot attempt anyway. And this time it's Kevin who just gets it across and backhands it into what's an open 4x6. Nix just can't get down in time. A little bit unfortunate on that play, but the Gauchos will take it nonetheless. They've got a well-deserved lead here in the second period.
Poliuso trying to get the tip play going. It's a heavy hit levied by Piagai.
Piagai's specialty.
Vieira in the corner of his own end defensively. Took the body to make the play. Damgard for Vieira. He'll shoot it in wide off the stick of Nix. Damgard along the far side boards, curls on his backhand behind the net, threw it in front. Goleta just couldn't get the stick on it at the moment of truth. Vieira sends it behind the net. Goleta back to the line. Piagai fires into the shin guards of Perez. Now Damgard in the corner. Back for Piagai. Holds the line. Feed to the high slot. Cleared but not out. Damgard, pass, backdoor, Poliuso got it on net on the second try, and Nix made a great save, and finally the Broncos able to clear, and that will be an icing with 11:53 to go in period number 2. Wave after wave for UCSB.
And the Broncos are not going to be allowed to change players here as well. They may be considering using their timeout because that was a good, I'd say probably a minute and a half with this line on the ice, pinned into their own zone by the Gauchos' top line on that one. Unfortunately, Justin Goleta just can't quite get the contact he needs on what was another wide open chance in front of Nix to try to double the lead quickly.
Barone wins the draw to Slisenko. Bounding shot through the slot to the near side corner. Chipped around, and Slisenko with a bad hit here along the far side boards. Took out Perez from behind, and that should be a boarding.
And unfortunately for the Gauchos, that's going to be a damper on the momentum. They have done so much to try to build here in this second period, dominant through the first 8 minutes and about 20 seconds here in this one with 11:40 remaining, and now needing to come up with another big penalty kill. Their last effort was very good when they were down a man. The Broncos were unable to establish possession until there was roughly about, I'd say, 30 seconds left on that one. So if the Gauchos can get a repeat performance here this time, I like their chances of being successful again.
Santa Clara 0 for 1 on the draw, on the power play, I should say. They win the draw and control in the Gaucho end. Boarding it. Pass back to the line. Barone intercepts. Got Lawrence flying up the middle. A whistle behind the play.
And I think we're going to be getting a retaliation penalty against Valois here. Not too happy with some contact he received behind the play. And this is going to now be huge for UCSB, being down 2 men, because I think he is the only one that's going to be going here. So a 5-on-3 advantage for 1 minute and 44 seconds. And Santa Clara with a huge opportunity to really put some offensive pressure on UCSB that they have not had yet in this game.
Lavarado on the draw, but it's won back by Jag Lawrence. Cleared to the line, and it gets through Burke.
Good clear from Andrew Vieira, gets it hard and low on the boards, doesn't allow it to lose any momentum, and the Gauchos will kill off about 10 seconds here.
Park carries in up the near wing, curls behind the net with it, tries a stuff play, stayed on the side of the net. Gauchos able to get it to the line and through, boarding out. Burke. For Park, top of the near circle, back for Burke, shoots and scores! And we're tied on the power play goal for Santa Clara, and they're going to have another minute 17 with the advantage.
And Penn never saw the shot. Straight up, straight forward, I believe she had both Piagai and Vieira right in front of her, along with a black shirt when that pass went right back into the high slot and let go. She dropped down, but she had no idea, just hoping for the best, and that shot unfortunately just got down underneath the pad. And the Gauchos, the discipline that we have mentioned so many times, needing to be perfect, or not so much perfect, but good in order to give them opportunities, unfortunately comes up a little bit poor on that situation. And now they, despite the fact that they were so good early in the second period and they did get the lead, they now find themselves tied.
Burke from Park at 9:19, the game-tying goal. But Barone centers to the slot. Hyman had it taken away. Now Burke leading the charge. The trailer scores, Brendan Fordingham, and the Broncos have turned both of the penalties in period number 2 into goals.
And the Gauchos not picking up the second man on that rush going in up the ice, and once again the same thing, playing so well here early on in the first period, fighting through and finally breaking through, getting that goal, now finding themselves trailing by 1. They're going to have to redouble the efforts to make sure they can get another one behind Nix now just to tie the game. And we saw how hard they had to work in order to get that first one there, but the Gauchos needing a big penalty kill despite the fact that they were so good on the first one, failing twice in a row now on that second one, and we have ourselves a completely different hockey game here and now that we're entering the second half of the contest.
Spears and Mooney's line is out there. He chipped ahead and not far enough for icing with the forward pressure from Miller. Behind his net, Kevin. Spears off the touch from Kyle. Too strong for him, cleared back out. Kevin for Van Duzer. Kyle carries in up the left wing. On his backhand, curling behind the net. Sends it back to the line. Slap past Van Duzer for a shot.
That
may
hit
have caught the post.
That did hit iron. I heard that.
The Moonies have been so effective in this game here for the Gauchos. Connecting on the only goal. Pass, backdoor. Nix makes a tremendous stop on Kyle again, and it goes into the netting.
Kyle's going to be seeing those red and white pads in his nightmares tonight. That's the third glorious opportunity he's had to put a puck behind Nix, and he's just been flat out burglarized. Straight up pad robbery from Nix on that one. Kyle's got to be wondering what he needs to do in order to buy a goal here.
Top line out for the Gauchos. Poliusu, Damgard, and Goldser. Valois holds the line. Slapper and a glove grab by Nix.
Through traffic with a whole bunch of bodies in front, bound right for the corner, and Valois grabs his head in disbelief that Nix somehow managed to catch a glimpse of that and get the glove over to just right-handed robbery to steal a John Aller saying.
Santa Clara controls the draw, and Park able to play it out off the high glass. And Vinegar beats out the icing. Tries to backhand to the slot, nobody home. Chance for Goldser to get on his horse. Can you really do that against the Broncos? Figure of speech. Puck held behind the net. And Vinegar gets it out. Garkar rolls it in for Perez. Vinegar stood up by Slisenko. Damgard out to neutral territory. Park. Perez backhands it in the far corner of the Gaucho end. Damgard able to clear it for Poliuso, and then just has to angle it off the near boards. It's picked up and shot back in by Park. Rolling puck, Penn takes no chances and freezes with 7:53 to go in the second period.
Well, I do like the response the Gauchos have had to giving up those 2 quick power play goals to Santa Clara, immediately going right back to putting pressure and generating chances against Frankie Nix down on the other end as well. But Santa Clara playing with some renewed confidence here after landing those first 2 goals and now taking the lead here in this game, really showing some pushback, trying to gun for a third one and put some space there.
Achpish won the draw, but Piagai had it pinned along the near side boards. Herlihy able to skate it out. Herlihy with Calcio. Lost the puck at the moment of truth. Lavarado from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Shot stubbed across the slot. Piagai backhands it forward. Herlihy laid it through. Slowly rolled in on the backhand. Penn pushes it aside with a stick. Lavarado in on Vieira. Loses his footing. Andrew Dew able to escape up the near wing, but can't connect with Herlihy. Icing waved as Lafleur slapped it back. The Gauchos play it behind the net. Calcio to the line. Vieira can't hold the near point. Piagai back over for Vieira. Touch pass through didn't work from Achpish. Angled back in on Penn. She pushes for Piagai. Achpish switching for Calcio. Held in at the line. The wrister from Winchester blocked. And Achpish angles it out. Long stretch pass. A big hit delivered by Vieira. Barone dances in up the right wing. Pass back door. It rolled in on Nix. He lost it for one of the few times in the game, but is able to get the friendly clear from Winchester.
Only one guy on the ice knew who that was, and it was Winchester.
Gauchos angle it back in. Andrew Seitz switches, force Phillip Park. It's turned over though. Late arriver, Mooney. Slapper goes wide. Barone thrown in front. Lawrence a couple jams at it. Couldn't get it in on Nix. Santa Clara shoots wide a Penn. Icing. 5:29 to go here, second period.
And it seems right now that that's all Santa Clara can do, really, to try to alleviate the pressure that the Gauchos have been throwing at them in wave after wave of forward depth, is just to take icings after extended shifts down in front of their own goaltender. Nix has been sensational tonight, but that will cause a lot of fatigue in the legs, especially getting later here.
Off the draw, Blount's shot was blocked. Touches for Kyle Mooney. Kyle couldn't walk through the defense. Santa Clara switches it up, but Kyle will carry in. Unable to get it to Spears, but Cooper holds the line. Puck kicks back for Blount. To the high slot, Kevin. Shoots, fought off with the trapper. Rebound back for Van Duzer. Spins away from the pressure. Play below the goal line, pass backdoor. Valois will gather at the far point. Loads and fires, can't hit the frame. Kevin. Attempted centering feed comes for Kyle. Drops back for Kevin. Pass, backdoor, Kyle, shot, pad, saved by Nix. Played to the line, Van Duzer holds.
This looks like a power play. It's 5-on-5 out there. Santa Clara's gassed.
Kevin, backdoor for Kyle, and a blocker saved by Nix. He exalts his defenders to get the clear, but no respite yet. Finally, Spears tries to go 1-on-4, but Kevin wins the puck back. Park shoots it off the boards, but Van Duzer with a nice hold. Kyle area feed for Spears in the near corner. He curls along the boards. Pass for Kevin. Sends it wide, nobody home on the back post.
No angle to slip that one around the goaltender.
Big hit, no penalty coming. Valois switches to the opposite face-off dot. Angled off the glass, but comes for Kevin. Shot, save made, Nix, and he holds.
And that is the end of a very long shift for Santa Clara. All of the players on the ice just appearing to skate back with nothing left in the tank. Those are the types of shifts that will continue to impact those players for the rest of the game. They will not be able to recover the same amount of energy level that they initially came into this one. So despite the fact that the Gauchos really didn't quite get what they deserved on that shift, either a goal, a penalty, a power play, something, they will see some benefits from that one later on as this game continues.
They continue to buzz. Goltzer had a look off the face-off win, but it's back in the Gaucho end. Jesper Damgaard, a giveaway, but wins the puck back. Carries along the far side boards, takes a hit at his own blue line from Aiden Rupert, and now the Gauchos look like they've got a power play coming up here with 3:19 in the second period. An opportunity for their special team.
Rupert protesting on this one. I think he's got a case because it looked to me like Damgaard turned away from that hit at the last moment. Now, Rupert does have the onus to pull up on the hit when it is going to be in a dangerous position, and that's definitely what it wound up being, but that was one of those situations where Damgaard put himself in that situation in the last moment, and really, in situations like that, that's where the referee usually will give the benefit of the doubt to the player throwing the hit. Not the case here, so the Gauchos, fortunately, will get another power play here, but they really need to come up with something big here because we're down to 3:19 remaining in the second period. Gauchos really just completely dominating this game except for that one 5-on-3 power play that Santa Clara had and scored on twice. Not much to show for it, though, just that one goal.
Gauchos 0 for 2. They had a 5-on-3. To the line, Valois. Pass across, backdoor, Kevin shot, pad save, rebound. The backhander fluttered wide. A stick got on it in front by Burke. Kevin for Valois. Back for Kevin, top of the near face-off circle. Kevin gets it back, shoots it high of the glove. Vieira retrieves at the far point. Passes backdoor. Kyle shot, rebound, and it goes in! The Gauchos tie it up after Mooney's shot hit the crossbar, came right down, and UCSB able to sweep in the equalizer on the man advantage.
And it's Christian Akpish in Justin Goltzer's office right in front of the goaltender. The second post that UCSB has hit here in the second period. This one gets the fortunate bounce, gets away from Nix, who cannot scramble to get back into position. The Gauchos get the goal, and they get the relief of knowing this game is back to evens after that one poor stretch of discipline here earlier in the second period. Back on level terms and in full command of the way this game is going.
Second goal in as many games for Akpish. Kyle Mooney will get the assist on the power play goal, and Mitchell Pauliuso's just giving it right back.
And it's going to be another crucial penalty kill. Once again, the same situation where maybe the player receiving the hit put himself in that position, but the referee, realizing that Pauliuso made no effort to pull up, wound up being a dangerous hit. So this is a situation where Pauliuso's going to go ahead and have a seat for 2 minutes. Maybe not necessarily his fault, but still a call the official has to make. And now, once again, UCSB needs to come up with a huge penalty kill. And I believe this is going to be even bigger. It's a major for boarding to Mitchell Pauliuso. This one will not end. If Santa Clara scores, they can just let them fly at will. Pauliuso is going to serve the entire 5 minutes.
So just 26 seconds after a hard-fought equalizer for ice hockey at UCSB, the Gauchos now have to deal with a major penalty, and Captain Justin Goltzer needs to go have a word with the official.
And again, we mentioned so often, the discipline has to be spectacular in instances where games are close like this. You cannot let the emotion and the hard-fought tension of a game get to you to the point where you're going to wind up taking penalties like that one. I think this is a little bit of a harsh penalty against Pauliuso, considering that the last one, it has been downgraded to a minor. Okay, so that is a little bit of a relief there for the Gauchos. So just a minor penalty, meaning that it will end if Santa Clara is able to score. Otherwise, Pauliuso will be released from the sin bin with 14 seconds remaining to go here in the second period.
Alvarado on the draw, slowly rolls in on Penn, and she'll just freeze it.
And 3 seconds taken off that penalty clock, so if the Gauchos can just do that, I don't know, several dozen more times, that'll be a pretty ineffective power play for Santa Clara.
Alvarado had the second goal of the game for the Broncos in their most recent game against the Polar Bears on the 28th of October. He's been kicked from the face-off circle.
Referees playing these face-offs really, really tight, requiring players to not jump until the last possible second.
Boardingham for Park. Waits for traffic, now gives back for Boardingham. Boardingham is one of the power play goals for the Broncos. Winchester. Park calling for it back and gets it. Rister. Wide of the glove. Winchester with it along the near sideboards at the hashes. Back for Park. Slapper. Penn makes a pad stop on Boardingham's try from the top of the far face-off circle.
Gauchos need to get some support on the penalty kill here and make sure that they don't give this one right back.
They dig away for it in the far corner. Goldser and Vieira with Lavarado and Miller jousting away for it. Boardingham, a motion to the official, wondering what's it going to take to get a stoppage in play here. And that'll finally stop the proceedings. 51 seconds, Kyle.
Great effort from Vieira and Goldser on that penalty kill. One way to kill off a good chunk of time, just make sure that they can't move the puck away. Not intentional, didn't fall on top of the puck, didn't cover it in any way, but did not allow Santa Clara to dig that off the boards without either giving up possession or allowing it to be cleared all the way down. And the Gauchos killed off a good chunk of that penalty, almost a whole minute with that battle along the boards there.
Van Duzer played along the far boards. Grasick sends it back to the line. Lafleur. Shot, pad save, Penn. Rebound swept away by Van Duzer. Spears takes an angle and gets by the man. Chance for a 2-on-1. Spears shot it high and wide of the blocker.
Gotta hit the net with those ones.
He does have a shorty this season, does Cooper. Grasick, heavy hit coming high across the slot. UCSB gets the clear. 30 seconds to go in the second period as Nix had it intercepted by Spears. Great chance in on him, but yeah, he knocked it down with a high stick to do so.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for that call. It was pretty, it looked fancy, and it was a great display of hand-eye coordination, but unfortunately for Cooper Spears, that is 100% illegal.
How about the 80s pad stack from Nix regardless?
That reminded me an awful lot of the heyday of Martin Brodeur. He is wearing the Bryans pads down on that end in a familiar white and red as well.
Face off to the right of Penn. Won by the Gauchos. Sent down the ice. Looks like the final 5 seconds of Paliuso's penalty will come off without incident. Lafleur takes a hit from Paliuso along the boards, but worked forward to Perez. Perez shot, Penn the save. Solon, heavy hit in front of the slot, and Grasick goes right after the Gaucho.
That's Cooper Spears, I believe, who has already lined someone up here in the second period right there in the middle of the slot.
And this is going to be interesting for the Zebras to deal with. What were we saying at the end of the first period about a lack of ill intent, malice aforethought in this game?
And that has changed an awful lot here in the second period. And as we have mentioned, these two teams do play again here tomorrow at Ice in Paradise, so messages like this tend to carry over between games. I believe, who do we have sitting down over there? I don't think it's Cooper. Maybe it is Cooper. I can't really tell from here, but Spears definitely had his man lined up in the high slot. We have someone leaving the ice. I believe that's
Grasick been tossed?
Has he been? It may be a major. It's kind of hard to tell here.
Could be a 10-minute misconduct.
It could also be a 10-minute misconduct. There are only 5.7 seconds left here in the second period. In fact, it kind of makes me a little surprised that the Gauchos have someone sitting.
And I am not an expert reader of sign language, but I believe the linesman
Right now they're
just
currently
came to the
saying
box and said 22, see ya.
Now that would be a very interesting call for sure, because I didn't really see too much of the hit, but at the same time, Cooper's initial hit, the first one that was not called, was a clean hit. Cooper is leaving the ice now. I cannot tell if it's a game misconduct, if he's done. Again, it could also be maybe like a 5-minute major, maybe a 10-minute misconduct. Those would be penalties he would not leave the box for between now and the end of the period. So usually when that's the case, the officials will just send the player off to the locker room. But if Spears has in fact been tossed, that's going to be a huge obstacle for UCSB to overcome. Spears has really been feeling it here this evening.
It seems like whenever the physical play ramps up, it winds him up, but it's been to good effect tonight with the Moonies.
It definitely has. That second line has just spent almost the entire game down next to Frankie Nix in that end of the ice. They've been moving the puck well. You can tell they really feed off each other, playing all essentially a very similar style. They like to skate very deceptively. They stick handle well. They move the puck fluidly. It's really difficult to defend against all three of those guys, and Santa Clara has just had an absolute hell of a job trying to keep up with those guys here this evening. So it'll be interesting to see if that winds up being the case. Spears, as we mentioned, has been sent to the locker room, as has Grazik for the Santa Clara Broncos. And I believe
so. A 5-minute major on the boards for the Gauchos.
Let's see if that
and a
stays that way,
2-minute
though.
minor on the boards currently.
Let's see if
for
that
Santa
stays,
Clara.
though, because remember last time we thought there was a 5-minute major on the board, and that got downgraded to 2. Still waiting for any sort of word as to what has been called here. The officials still standing over at the timekeeper's bench.
Now the explanation from the official coming over to speak with head coach Scott Hires.
I didn't see Cooper throw any punches in that altercation as well, which is also something worth noting. Spears appeared as though he really was kind of taking the brunt of the anger on that one from Grazik.
Five and 2 still being shown here as Akshay Agarkar and head coach Brian Gray now speak with both of the linesmen. This second period has seen 4 goals, 2 for each side. Three of them have come on the power play.
Both teams have also held a lead here in this second period, worth noting. Gauchos scoring first to take a 1-0 lead. Santa Clara responding on an extended 5-on-3, scoring 2 goals in really just seconds apart. And then the Gauchos tying it on the power play with a big goal by Christian Otpish on a rebound from their second shot that hit the crossbar in this second period alone.
So it looks like Kyle Perez will be serving the penalty for Santa Clara.
We'll see if we can work on getting an explanation for the calls, and it appears as though it's going to be 4-on-4, but still 5 minutes on the board for UCSB, so assuming everything holds, the Gauchos will be shorthanded for 3 minutes in the third period. I believe that looks to me like it may actually be Kyle Mooney in the penalty box for ice hockey at UCSB.
Of course,
no, never mind, that is not. Kyle Mooney's actually taking the face-off, so that over there would be, it's Greg Hyman.
So Hyman serving the minor for the Gauchos. Off the draw, shot off the outside of the net. And that'll do it for the second period.
Gauchos a little bit asleep on that face-off, thinking the period was over, but you never play and you can never stop playing until you hear that buzzer. So a little bit lucky to escape with that one. And just as we thought, it was a 5-minute major that is being served by Greg Hyman. So UCSB will have to kill 3 minutes of a major penalty after 1:55 of 4-on-4 to start the third period. All square 2-2 after 2 periods, so it's going to be a very interesting final stanza between these two teams. Already getting pretty testy. It seems like these weekend series games in particular, where you do have back-to-backs, so you're going to see each other either the night after or maybe 2 days later. Why are these always the ones that wind up getting extremely heated about halfway through the game?
Maybe it's a Southern California, Northern California thing.
Maybe it is. That is also a common factor between the games where we've seen things like this happening.
So, for the Gauchos, when we start the third period, 4:55 penalty time, of which 1:55 will be spent 4-on-4. And the official continues to discuss here with not only Coach Hires, but assistants and Brecker and Steve Hines. And is that still Goldser out there as well?
No, that looks to me like Dimitri Piagai.
Piagai, indeed.
Piagai,
the A
worth
on the
noting,
chest.
has the A on his chest for the first time this game. Justin Goldser obviously wearing the C, but I believe it is Piagai and I think, if memory serves me correctly, Mitchell Poliuso wearing the other A for ice hockey at UCSB.
Barone has one.
Barone has one as well. So maybe they have 3, or maybe I'm mistaken about Poliuso. One of the two. Barone being another one of the returning players as well. So you would imagine that the leadership that he exhibits in the locker room, as well as his experience with the program, would make him a fine choice as an assistant captain.
So, we await to see what the actual announcement of the penalties will be. Do not believe we've heard one of yet.
I have not.
From the public address announcer. Piagai continues to speak with the official heading down the runway on the near side of this Ice in Paradise facility. Time now to take a look at the second period scoring summary. It's brought to you by Ice Hockey at UCSB's fleet of social media accounts. Get social with your Gauchos, like on Facebook, facebook.com/icehockeyucsb. Follow on Twitter at UCSB Ice Hockey. There's an Instagram as well, UCSB Ice Hockey. And a special hello to those of you joining us for the audio-only broadcast on MixLR. That's mixlr.com/icehockeyucsb. Well, for the Gauchos, they broke the 0-0 deadlock at the 6:47 mark. The Moonies just absolutely buzzing in the early going, absolutely buzzing all period long. And it was Kyle who broke the deadlock, knocking home a rebound, assisted by Kevin, to give the Gauchos at the time the 1-0 lead.
We are so used to seeing the Moonies score the beautiful goals, the gorgeous ones with the stick handling moves, the dangles, that they just wind up roofing on the backhand, supreme displays of skill. The opportunities they've had like that tonight, they've either been stonewall robbed or have just missed the net by mere inches. So this goal, qualify it as an ugly one for the Moonies, and we don't see very many of those, but comes off of a couple rebounds off of Nix, and finally the Gauchos get him to the point where they have to get him to move laterally, but he can't move laterally, and that leaves the net open for Kevin Mooney in order to bury it into the back of the net. So at that point, definitely for the Gauchos, a huge sigh of relief, considering the types of chances that they had dealt with to that point in the second period, and that they had just come up short on.
Less than 2 minutes later, however, the Gauchos would be bitten by the penalty bug. First with Yevgeny Slisenko going to the box for boarding at 8:20, and Eric Valois getting called for a slash behind the play just 16 seconds later. 5-on-3, which, as mentioned, the Gauchos went over in that first period. Santa Clara made no such mistakes. First, getting a goal from Cameron Burke, assisted by Philip Park at the 9:19 mark, and then the 9:46 mark, Just 27 seconds later, it was Brendan Boardingham giving the Broncos their first lead of the game at 2-0.
Well, I've made no bones about my opinion of retaliatory penalties on this broadcast, and the Gauchos, unfortunately this season, have seemed to not really hesitate to take them on numerous occasions. And once again, it's a retaliatory penalty from Eric Evelhoch that puts the Gauchos down by 2 men and opens the door just a crack for Santa Clara to come back in there, and they made no mistake scoring 2 goals very quickly, back-to-back, and essentially all of the wonderful work ice hockey at UCSB had put into that point in order to get the lead, control the game, and do everything possible except open up like a 7 or an 8 goal lead. Just went by the wayside just that quickly, purely because of what I would argue was a pretty boneheaded penalty on the part of Evelhoch.
The Gauchos, however, would get back even with Aiden Rubert in the box for Boarding. He took the penalty at the 16:41 mark. And Christian Ockpish was there once again. It was another one of those net front scramble goals, sweeping in the rebound of the Kyle Mooney shot for his second goal in as many games, tying the game at 2-2.
And the Santa Clara Broncos have been very good in front of their goaltender, not allowing a whole lot of rebound chances, not allowing passes through into the slot. But the opportunities the Gauchos have had, they've either come extremely close, requiring acrobatic, sensational saves from Frankie Nix, or they've managed to find a way to put it into the back of the net. So the Gauchos really just need to keep going to the front of the net, keep pressuring, keep putting pucks there, try to get them off the pads of Nix and out to the front of the net rather than trying to stick it right into his breadbasket the way he's playing. He's not letting a whole lot of rebounds out into the top of that slot. But if you can get him off his pads and get him to be spat out in front of that net, if you can beat their defense over to it, the Gauchos should have a pretty good opportunity to put one back behind him.
And that's really what it's taken tonight. Nix has been so good about where he's placed his rebounds, about how he has come out to challenge, cut down the angle, and spoiler alert, it's going to be awfully difficult for him to play his way out of a 3-star selection in the final 20 minutes of play. I don't want to speak for you, Kyle.
It's going to take a collapse of epic proportions to get him to fall out of that.
What we have seen through him through the first 2 periods of play, he made 43 saves in the first 40 minutes of the season opening game against the San Jose State Spartans. Surely the Gauchos will look to keep the pressure up against him. That is your second period scoring summary, brought to you by UCSB social media. Like on Facebook, facebook.com/icehockeyucsb. Follow on Twitter at UCSB Ice Hockey, Instagram UCSB Ice Hockey, and on MixLR for live audio-only broadcasts. The next road audio-only broadcast that we have on the docket for you comes on Saturday, November the 19th at 10:30 p.m. when the Gauchos take on the California Lutheran University Knights. Of course, you can keep up with the latest information about your Gauchos, see the season schedule, game day coverage with preview and game recaps by visiting your home for the Gauchos on the ice, on the web at www.ucsbhockey.com.
And let's go back and take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard again. The one other game that was being played while we were starting here, the Chapman and Cal Lutheran game, has come to a conclusion, and perhaps somewhat surprisingly, Eric, this turned into a blowout. 9-0 final for the Chapman Panthers, beating the Cal Lutheran Knights for the first time in, I believe it's about roughly 4 years' time. That was a long win streak for the Golden Knights in that one, but unfortunately, well, not the Golden Knights, the regular Knights. It's hard not to call them the Golden Knights with those forum blue and gold jerseys out there, but long win streak coming to an end, as did another win streak earlier in the CSUN Matadors falling to the Long Beach State 49ers. That snapped a season-opening win streak of 13 games for CSUN. So their first loss of the year comes well into the season for the Matadors here this evening.
Chapman has to feel particularly good about that win, Coach Lee Properson and crew breaking that streak, but also doing so after having a player suffer a tremendous, what looked like potentially devastating injury in their game against ice hockey at UCSB.
And for Connor Pierce, I hope he went home and bought a lottery ticket. We were fortunate enough to hear from Chapman a few days later, and Pierce was carted off the ice. If anyone watched the last game, remember, was taken to a local hospital where he was attended to by medical staff, but he actually wound up going home on the bus with his teammates that evening.
On the bus
With his teammates that evening. From what I heard, I don't know the full extent of it, but from what I was told, sounded like it was nothing more than a somewhat messed up nose and a sore neck. Now, considering the way he went into the boards, I'd say that is a tremendous result for that kind of a collision and that kind of an impact into the boards. And that's great for the Chapman Panthers as well, considering how unbelievably impactful Connor Pierce is to their blue line. Really, he is quite possibly their best defenseman on that team. And the only reason I don't say he is the best is because Tyler Kring is listed as a forward on that one, but plays a lot of defense.
And thank you to Kring, by the way, for sharing that information with us, and we're able to pass along to you. Of course, the ACHA hockey is as much a family as the individual schools are themselves. These are student athletes taking part in student organizations, playing for the pure love of the game and the pride of their universities. And so anytime you see a circumstance like that, where a potential catastrophic injury is avoided, it is to be applauded, and all the best wishes and thoughts and prayers with Pierce and Chapman, and congratulations on that 9-0 wipeout of California Lutheran earlier this evening.
And speaking of streaks coming to an end, UCSB looking to end another one of their own here this evening. We've made no bones about being shy. The Gauchos are winless in 4 straight games so far here, not winning since their first 2 games of the season when they faced the Santa Rosa Polar Bears. Tied at 2-2, facing a very strong goaltender. Maybe a little bit of a tall order here for the Gauchos, but the way they've played and with the effort they've put up through 40 minutes, I like where their heads are at right now.
First things first, though, minute 55 of 4-on-4 before the Gauchos have to kill off 3 minutes of penalty time as that second period came to an end. Cooper Spears getting involved in an altercation with Carl Grasick. Spears appeared to be given the indication from the linesman, 22, you're out. Very interesting to see how the Gauchos deal with not having their second line center if Spears has indeed been ejected from the game.
The Gauchos have just made their way back onto the ice, and I do not see Spears out there, so I think our worst fears may have been confirmed. Spears, who was having himself an excellent game here this evening, really seemed to be feeling it for the first time in a while, was moving well, skating well, playing very well alongside the Moonies. That second line appearing to click very, very proficiently here in this game. Losing one of its biggest components and one of its key guys here late in the second period. Gauchos are going to have to overcome and find a way to fill in those big shoes that he's going to leave open here on the second line.
So Kyle, we've talked about the 3 keys for the game. We've done so at great length. If you have to pick one key either from pregame or moving forward, what do you think will be the most important facet in the Gauchos potentially coming away with a result tonight against a game Santa Clara University side?
And I think the biggest thing they're going to need is they're just going to have to keep up that offensive pressure, but they're also going to need to make sure that they can get some traffic and bodies in front of goaltender Frankie Nix. Make him have to make the save and hang on to the puck. Otherwise, he's going to spit a rebound out, and the Gauchos can have a chance to maybe whack away, get a dirty one, get an ugly one. They're probably not going to get many, if any at all, here this evening that are going to be the high skill goals, the pretty ones. So far, both the Gaucho goals coming in that gritty, ugly, bang, bang away at the rebound style. So for UCSB, really needing to get a good, strong start to this period and make sure they can maintain that presence in front of the net.
Now, of note, I did see Carl Grasick come back onto the ice. He is currently sitting in the penalty box right now with another man for Santa Clara. There are also 2 Gauchos currently sitting in the penalty box for ice hockey at UCSB.
One of them
False start on the draw.
One of them is Dominic Casio. I can see that from here. Still no Cooper Spears, though, so interesting call from the officials on that one to note that Grasick is back out on the ice, admittedly in the penalty box for the Polar Bears, but Spears has been ejected from the game.
4-on-4 to begin period number 3. Ice hockey at UCSB, left to right. For those of you listening on MixLR, shoot it into the end behind Nix. Battle for the puck along the boards by Kyle Mooney, but it'll be wedged free by Brendan Boardingham, and he touches it ahead for Lovataro. Lovataro, Penn, out on the poke check, knocks the puck free, and sends it behind the net.
Ooh, big bailout from Penn on that one.
Kevin carries into the zone, undresses his man, backhands it high and wide of the glove. Kyle on the retrieval for Slasenko. His wrister blocked, but the puck turned over for Kyle. Kyle holding, pass to the slot, intercepted and cleared by Park to the line, but not out. Valois, area pass for Slasenko. 55 seconds to go in 4-on-4. Park behind the net for Agarkar, back for Park. Agarkar in the corner of his own end, back for Park. It's almost as if Santa Clara is playing this 4-on-4 as if they're on the penalty kill. Kevin curling, far face-off circle. Holds it behind the net. Backhand to the slot. Slasenko wasn't looking for the feed, and it's cleared out.
And the Gauchos just not getting a lot of luck with those passes out into the slot. They're either getting blocked, taken away, or the man's not paying attention. The opportunities have been there, but for UCSB, they just can't seem to quite complete one when it counts. Now going down to 9 seconds remaining in 4-on-4, a big penalty kill here.
Damgard along the far boards for Piagai. Tip play from the slots. Rebound cleared to the corner. Gauchos 3 minutes of penalty kill time now in front of them. Slapped in to the Santa Clara end. Nix, pressure coming from Damgard, plays it forward. Rubert passed it through. Miller couldn't control. Hood with it in the corner. Taken away on the backhand by Vieira. Here's for Damgard, and Damgard able to fight it through. Santa Clara dumps it back in. Piagai whiffs on the clear, but able to get it back out to neutral territory along the far end boards. Damgard digging, cleared forward for Burke. He has one of the 2 power play goals in this game for Santa Clara. Shot from a sharp angle, blocked. Miller curling with it, back to the line, takes the return feed. Slapper didn't get a lot on it, and the Gauchos able to get a clear. A minute 45 remaining on the 3-minute power play for Santa Clara. Phillip Park, stretch pass along the far side boards for Boardingham. He has the other goal. Santa Clara sent it to the high slot, and the Gauchos able to get the clear. Burke, under pressure from Goldser, skates in, head of steam. Throws it to the front of the net. Penn does well to hold the far side post. Somebody's down on the ice. There's a Gaucho with them, and everybody comes together.
And doing well to stay with Burke on that rush up the ice. It appeared to me as though that shot that was fanned on by Santa Clara out from the point that allowed the Gauchos to get that last clear out of the zone came as the result of a broken stick. So unfortunately for someone currently wearing black and red, that's going to be a rather expensive replacement. Of course,
Man speaks from experience.
Of course, these players not sponsored as professionals. like most of the NHL players are. Just noticing Cooper Spears is up in the stands with us here, so very clearly his night is done. Would like to find out what the call was on that one.
Still have not heard the announcement from the public address announcer. Off the draw, battle for the puck. Held in at the point by Lafleur. And now the Gauchos able to chip and get the clear out. Jag Lawrence in. Lawrence the draw. Lawrence waits and is hit into the end boards by Lafleur, who skates forward with it. Lafleur wrists it and Penn makes the glove save. 42 seconds left to kill for the Gauchos. 15:47 to go in the third period.
The old adage goes, your best penalty killer needs to be your goaltender, and in order for Nora to be the best penalty killer on the ice, I'm sure she will be more than happy if all of the shots on this big penalty kill are exactly like that one. From several feet out, no traffic in front, not a super difficult save to make, very routine. She will love seeing those the rest of the way.
Barone with a nice defensive zone win. Goldser, pressure forward. Burke, stretch pass ahead for Ruberts. Rubert into the zone. Shoots it wide of the glove. Held in at the far point by Burke. Miller for Burke. Waits for traffic. Shoots. Penn makes the pad save. Puck comes loose on the rebound. Thrown to the slot. Barone fights it over to the far boards. Behind the net, Rubert. Penalty time is up for the Gauchos.
Big kill for UCSB.
And out the box. Forward come the Gauchos. Poliuso shoots and a save made by Nix.
Went for the 5-hole. Nix showed it and then took it away at the last second.
Rubert plays it along the far side boards. Leaping hold in at the line by Kyle, but then Miller get it out and down the ice. Little bit of a careless pass there. Too strong for Mooney to hold. Puck swatted down. Rubert check that. That was Agarkar. Couldn't put the shot on net.
Good defensive play from Kyle there to recover after that pass.
Slisenko ahead for Poliuso. Poliuso out there with the Moonies now. See if this second-year player Magic can work it as Binniger. And it taken away by Kyle along the far side boards. Poliuso trying to help him work it free. Goes to the line, Valois for Slisenko. Shot over the top. Kyle tracks it down for Poliuso. Poliuso can't get through the sea of sticks. It's knocked to the far side boards and Binniger will skate it out. Dogged back check from Kevin knocked it free, and they're able to stab it deeper into the zone. Forwards looking for a line change here. Akpish off the bench. Picks it up in his own end. Clears forward. Nice play forward by Herlihy. Cleared out. Piagai plays catch with Vieira. Gives it back to him near side boards. Kevin. Head for Herlihy. Fights off the check. Shot. Short side off the outside of the net. Clear held in at the near point by Vieira. Herlihy. For Kevin. To the line. Vieira can't hold it in the skate. Look out, it's a puck race here, and Vieira does a nice job to shield it away from Boardinga. Vieira takes the hit from Lavorato. Try and drive it in, but Santa Clara able to clear back. 12:35 to go in the third period. We're tied. Park intercepts. Stick lifted by Barone coming off the bench. And Piagai retreats behind his own net. Colcio touched forward. Here's Barone. Shot blocker save. Rebound there. Akpish. Pad save by Nix. Colcio with it sends it back to the line. Vieira winds, fires. Hit Akpish in front. Two Gaucho forwards down in the own end. Chance for a 2-on-2. Slapper. Save made by Penn. Rebound cleared away by Van Duzer. Hood Miller. Van Duzer. Some rough work in his own end in the near corner. Gauchos able to get the clear by Calcio. Phillip Park. Miller shoots it in. Piagai back to retrieve. Sends it back behind the net for Van Duzer. Gauchos look for the breakout. And here is Hyman. Swatted away, made a bit of a mess of it. It's cleared to the high slot. Blount with a hit, but the puck knocked free by Kyle Perez. Carries in, wrister from the top of the near circle goes wide of the far post. Shot from the point, save made by Penn on Agarkar. Face-off coming up to her left.
For UCSB, they are still continuing to control the majority of this game, but Santa Clara very strongly looking for that counterattack. They have the speed through the neutral zone, looking to catch the Gaucho defense just a little bit flat-footed. Sometimes all it takes is a puck thrown out to the neutral zone, so the Gauchos need to stay alert here.
Shot from the line, Penn the save. Stopped Andrew Seitz on that. Goldser into the zone near corner. Drops back for Paliuso. Paliuso threw it in front, nobody home. Valois for Slisenko. Seeing eye wrister, kick to the far boards by Nix. Valois retrieves there at the point, gives for Damgard. Tried to get the return feed, slowly rolled wide of it. Slapper, high over the top. Slisenko activates to push forward for Paliuso. Knocked free. And Agarkar sends it to the line. Slisenko holds. Send it for Paliuso, puts it over the top.
Just a little too much lift on that one.
Puck held in by Valois. Damgard throws it in front. Two white sticks were there, neither could get a touch on it. Paliuso curling, backhander to the slot. Goldser through Slisenko. Diving attempted clear, neither can make the play. Damgard retains. Goldser with it, shot, save made, sent to the far boards by Nix. Valois activates. Great pressure from the Gauchos. Paliuso shot! Takes a deflection and goes wide of the far post. Slisenko holds in at the line. Paliuso curls top of the far circle. On his backhand, tried to throw it in front. It was blocked, cleared to the line. Valois holds. Shot looking for the high tip from Paliuso. Served as a block and enabled Kyle Perez to get it out and get the clear. Santa Clara out of jail after a multiple minute shift in their own end. Now here come the Moonies. LaFleur sends it back into the Gaucho end, ensuring that they'll have to go the length of the sheet. 8:50 to go in the third period. Tied at 2. Lavarado playing forward, stood up at the line by Piagai. Dimitri with it now. Lifts on the pass. Will take it back behind the net to set up the breakout. Late arriving Okpik. Draws, shot, pad save, goes for his own rebound. It goes to the near corner.
Follow your shot. Coaches teach that all the time.
Vieira shot through traffic, goes wide of the far post. It'll be held in. The point by Piagai. For Kevin. Pass to the slot. Late arriving Vieira. Hesitates. Played back. Mooney. Shot wide. Vieira picks up there. Boy, the Gauchos just weaving and interchanging in their own end. Kyle with it. Hard saucer across the slot. Back for Piagai, will give for Kyle. Pass on the return feed. Save made by Nix as he denies Kevin off the great find from Vieira in front.
Nix is clearly not happy with his defense and the amount of time that the Gauchos are getting to spend down immediately in front of him. As when he made that save, he just smacked the puck all the way down, getting a warning from the officials here. 7:43 remaining in the game. I don't think he's going to get a delay game penalty for this one, but
That is the second time he's done something as animated as that in the game. Every little bit of gamesmanship matters when you're fighting against the rising torrent of white, blue, and gold, and a timeout taken now by Santa Clara with 7 minutes to go in the third period. Coach Gray realizing the significance of this moment.
And the Gauchos appear to really be wearing Santa Clara out. They are still trying for that counterattack play. They do have the speed, but they really only have it in bursts at this point. Maybe not quite enough to really keep up with ice hockey at UCSB when it comes to a straight-up track race or a straight-up foot race from end to end. The depth of ice hockey at UCSB is going to give them an advantage when it comes down to the end here.
Well, fans, do you have a youngster who would like to learn to play this great game? Tyler Toffoli wants to help first-time boys and girls ages 4 to 8 learn to play hockey through the Little Kings program presented by Lucky Brand. The program begins on ice in the spring of 2017 with 6 on-ice sessions at one of 13 Southern California locations, including Ice in Paradise. Only 30 players are allowed per rink, but the program includes complete CCM hockey equipment for all participants to keep. Equipment to be professionally fitted at the Hockey Monkey Superstore in Irvine for just $150. Your child can be a Little King. Register online at lakings.com/Lil Kings. The registration deadline is Friday, December the 16th. You can also email hockey@lakings.com. This program in concert with USA Hockey. Pia Guy just unable to hold in at the line.
So close, maybe by an inch on that one. Pia Guy thinks he had it, and being someone who regularly has to try to hold pucks in like that, you're always going to say that you did have it. I couldn't say for sure. It definitely was close.
Corrections and retractions on the time, by the way. It is 7:40 to go in the third period. Bit of a stub on setting up the 1 minute of timeout time. It's A.J. Hood able to work it into the zone, loses an edge. Gauchos a chance to press their advantage forward here. Sent wide for Kyle Mooney. Kyle trailing feed to the slot, intercepted and played away by Rubert. Pia Guy holds. Rubert loses it along the near boards. Barone curls in the near side corner. Back for Vieira. Vieira for Barone. Tyler curling. And the hash marks on the near side boards. Puck shot back in behind Nix. Kevin retrieves with a defender on his back. Sends it back for Pia Guy. And Pia Guy has it taken away, and a lookout break-in chance comes sliding back and just unable to get a good opportunity in on. Craig Miller denied by Nora Penn.
Nora Penn goes fishing with that poke check, and she gets it away, bailing out her teammate Dimitri Pia Guy, who really this evening on multiple occasions has appeared to struggle with handling that puck. Whiffed on several passes, and then fans on this one at the blue line winds up turning into a chance for Santa Clara. Penn bails out her teammate on this one, keeps the Gauchos in it.
Still 2-2, but the Gauchos able to press forward after what looked like a Santa Clara face-off win. Michael Herlihy giving chase along the end boards. He's out there with Poliuso and Lawrence, the forward line. Jag along the far side boards. Fights off the stick check of a Garkar, but Vinegar able to take it out. Dakota Vinegar stood up in neutral ice. Garkar able to give it up for Perez. Kyle Perez plays back to the line. Activated shot by John Winchester. Loops in, and Pan has it and holds.
So some really intense hockey gonna happen here over the last 6 minutes and 11 seconds. A lower scoring game, we have seen a few of those here this evening elsewhere around the league.
Memory serves, the lowest scoring game in Gaucho history against California Lutheran at the Isoplex.
I think that was a 3-2 game, right? Or a 4-2 maybe?
4-2, 4-3, somewhere in there. You can find out that by looking in the archive at ucsbhockey.com. Gauchos clear the far side boards. Akpish ridden off the puck. Parks pass, deflects off Damgard to the corner. Valois will wheel it behind his net. Damgard lags through the Bronco coming off the bench, sends it behind. Park introduced to the boards by Goleta. Burke able to take it out to neutral ice, but stood up there. Area pass to the near sideboards. Goleta has it, backhands it. Was looking for Akpish, but had it swept away by Miller. Chase in up the far side boards by Hood. A whistle and a penalty coming here for a hold.
And Valois took the free hand off of his stick, latched onto the man who had just a very slight advantage over him, and just took him down. Maybe a good penalty, maybe not, but unfortunately for UCSB, now a very late penalty kill. A period where they've had their chances offensively, but Valois, maybe a little bit of a frustrating evening, as he was the one that took the penalty that initially put the Gauchos down to 5-on-3 in the second period and allowed Santa Clara to get the 2 goals to put us where we are right now.
2-2 as we approach 5 to play in period number 3. Have to wonder if there may be another similar marginal play by Santa Clara to the Gauchos get that benefit of the doubt. Barone knocks it free, the far side boards, pinned there by a pair of black shirts. Shot in, Nix. Boy, a little bit of a knuckleball changeup from Hyman on that play. Gauchos doing well to posture the Broncos back in their own end. Winchester switches for Lafleur and gets it back. John Winchester dribbled it ahead, too far for Grasic, and the Gauchos able to clear. Minute to go in the Bronco power play. They are 2 for 4 in the game. That included a 3-minute stretch to start this period. Pass to the far point. Dancing down with it. It's given back for Burke. His shot through traffic. Penn calls fair catch and able to bring it in.
And that one did drop down underneath her, but the official anticipated that she was going to hang on to it. So as soon as she made contact, he had the whistle to his lips, ready to call it. So Santa Clara may be a little bit unlucky that that whistle went so quickly, but nonetheless, the Gauchos will take that. 41 seconds left on this huge penalty kill. Gauchos have been good on it so far, but all it takes, one shot that gets through Penn, and this game changes completely here very late.
Off the draw. Burke sends it into the far corner. Blount doing battle there. Lavarado lands over top of him. Lavarado backhander. Penn has it skitter off her glove, but it'll be cleared on the near side point, held in by Park. Shot. Penn gobbles up the wrister from Kyle Perez at the near side face-off dot. 19 seconds remaining in the kill.
Good job for the Gauchos, keeping that shot out wide to the perimeter, not allowing it from in tight, not allowing it from a good spot towards the middle of the ice, allowing Penn to get out on top of her goal crease and use the chest protector to swallow that one up. No rebound.
Linesman wants a reset. And
really are calling these faceoffs tight here tonight.
New Gaucho in to take the draw. Couple words with the booted Gaucho player. Kyle Mooney works it to the near boards, held in by Park. Kevin will skate it ahead for Kyle. This should kill off the remainder of the penalty. Gets by the man, drags, tries to go 5-hole. Save made by Nix, rebound cleared. Park behind the net for Burke. Van Duzer curls back for Kyle. Kyle trying to dance through the neutral zone, swept forward. Nice retrieval defensively by Valois. Kevin carries in, pass across. Wrister screamed wide by Poliuso. Slisenko plays along the near boards. Paliuso knocked the puck free and gets it back. Paliuso threw it in front. Kevin couldn't come up with it. 2:30 to go in the third period. Park plays forward, knocked down Valois for Slisenko. Slisenko chips it off the boards for Kevin Mooney. Stood up there by Burke, unable to enter the zone. Slisenko has to go back to retrieve. Pass intercepted, but Santa Clara goes offside.
Just a little bit too jumpy getting that interception right on the Gaucho blue line. Not a place you want to give the puck away for UCSB. Fortunately, they had a couple guys back at that point, but also the offside call giving them a chance to reset, try to get this face-off win, and get the puck back down. 2:07 remaining here in the third period, still tied 2-2.
Santa Clara, San Lavarado take the draw, but he gets the immediate boot, so it's boarding him to take it. Gauchos possess. Piagai. Vieira angled off the boards for Damgard. Damgard taken away by Lavarado, able to get it out. Piagai plays it in behind the net. Nix will stop it up there for Winchester. Winchester angles it off the glass. Vieira giving chase. Doesn't go far enough for icing. Pass ahead of Damgard. Dumped back in once more. 85 seconds remain in regulation. Damgard stood up at the line. Piagai. Pass back. Vieira for Akpish. Shot, save made by Nix, and he holds. 1:11. Make a wish to go in the third period.
So this is going to be the time where I would imagine Coach Scott Hires is really going to shorten that bench up. You're going to see a lot of the top line, and you're going to see a lot of the Mooney brothers, who appear as though they have been playing the most this third period alongside center Tyler Barone, who is out with them right now as they come over the board. I expect to see a lot of them in an effort to really try to control this game in the later stages.
Puck sent to the net. Nick sticks it to the near corner. Barone gathers it far corner. Pinned on the back by Burke. It's knocked free. Barone tried to walk to the slot. Couldn't lift the stick of Park. Area pass angled off the boards looking for Perez. He's got a trailer coming. Shoots. Tried to pick that top near side corner. I think Nora got a piece of it. Clear up the middle. Kyle for Barone far boards. Under 40 seconds to go. Nix will stop it. Plays to the boards. Intercepted Barone. Barone lost the puck behind the net. Slisenko holds the point. Van Duzer shot through traffic. Santa Clara able to get the clear. Van Duzer for Kyle Mooney. Puck just sitting there in neutral ice. It's chipped forward for Kyle. 5 seconds for Kevin. Is there any late magic here? Cleared out by Santa Clara. And overtime.
Santa Clara taking a little bit of an exception to that shot there at the buzzer. Maybe just a hair on the late side, not too late. But we will go to overtime for the first time since we started broadcasting here at Ice Hockey UCSB. I don't think there's going to be a penalty that comes from this. And it looks to me like, I believe this is the second game in a row that Santa Clara has gone to overtime, their last one being an overtime loss to the Santa Rosa Polar Bears at Snoopy's home ice.
A Josiah Nickel goal, the winner in that one, inside the final minute.
So a 5-minute session here, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there is no shootout. So if this one ends at still 2-2 after 5 minutes, I believe the game is actually declared a tie. So those actually exist still somewhere in the hockey world. It is going to be 4-on-4 hockey, though.
Which has been advantage Santa Barbara.
Clearly controlling the game a lot more when they have the open ice both Mooney brothers out there in order to start this one. It looks to me as though they are going to be out with Eric Evelhoch, and I believe that's Andrew Vieira. So a smooth skating foursome on the ice for ice hockey at UCSB in order to start this game, or in order to start this overtime period. But look out for the counterattack from Santa Clara. They've still got some speed. They've got a little bit of gas left in the tank.
Laverado, Boardingham, Burke, and Park. Burke and Park have been the horses, I'm sorry, for this Broncos team defensively.
That pun was bad.
Kyle Mooney into the zone, tries to walk through, sticked away last second by Nix. Mooney battles for the puck along the end boards. Kevin knocks it free. Kevin for the defender, Valois. Drags, shoots his shot, deflects. And a face-off coming in the offensive end.
Valois made a really nice hesitation play to get around the first shot blocker. The second one, unfortunately, lets it go, and it bounces either off a stick or a shin pad, winds up over the net, over the glass, and out of play. But this face-off will stay deep as the officials determined this was off a Santa Clara player. They've blocked a lot of shots here tonight, Santa Clara has. John Tortorella would be quite proud.
On the draw, puck shoveled out by Perez. Vieira found Kyle. Back for Kevin. Carries through the high slot. Vieira for Kevin. Dances his man. Pass to the point for Valois. Area play. Tip. Save made. Rebound. Score! Kevin Mooney gives the Gauchos the overtime win on the Ice in Paradise sheet. And that's what it had to take to beat Frankie Nix tonight. A tremendous tip play off the shot from the line. And on the rebound, Kevin Mooney is there to put home his fourth goal of this season and break the 4-game losing streak for the Gauchos. For Santa Clara, heartbreak for the second time in overtime in as many games. Jubilation for the Gauchos, though, as they play certainly the most gritty, the most grinding, the most entertaining game of the ACHA era. And perhaps I think you could make the argument that that is the most exciting win that the Gauchos may have had in program history. Well, Kyle Nicolas is heading to center ice. And who else would you be talking to in a moment like this other than the game-winning goal scorer, Kevin Mooney?
Thanks, Eric. Down here with the game-winning goal scorer, Kevin Mooney. Kevin, you guys break the 4-game schneid. You get the game-winning goal in overtime. How are you feeling right now, and how do you think the team's feeling?
Feeling great. You know, we worked hard all game, got a bunch of good shots, opportunities. A bunch of the bounces weren't going our way, but it all came together in the end, so here we are.
These 2-game series where you face an opponent either on a back-to-back or twice in 3 days, something along those lines, always very difficult, always kind of interesting to see how things like this translate over to the game tomorrow. How are you guys going to take what you learned about them here this evening, translate it over to the game tomorrow, hopefully come out on top again?
You know, I think we played a good game as a team tonight, and we're going to come out tomorrow looking to play another great game, work our asses off, and hopefully come out with another win.
Thanks, man. Go celebrate with your team. Great goal.
Apologize for the language from Kevin Mooney. Of course, you can get away with saying that in an FCC broadcast, either sparingly, but man, oh man, the sophomore from Laguna Hills with the gigantic goal for the Gauchos, and it is a deserved 3-2 win in overtime as the Mooney brothers so dominant over the course of the game, particularly as it wore along. As I said initially, it was going to take a goal like that to find a winner against Frankie Nix But for the Gauchos, they're now 3-4-0 on the season and have their first overtime win on the Ice in Paradise sheet in ACHA action. Pretty cool, Kyle.
Absolutely fantastic. It was kind of surprising it's taken that long for us to see some overtime here with ice hockey at UCSB, but I'm glad it got the result that they did, because the way the Gauchos played this game, man, they absolutely deserved it.
So for the Gauchos, they will take on this same Santa Clara side tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Hope to have you out here at Ice in Paradise for that one, but if you are unable to do so, you can always watch it on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Well, it's a party tonight for the Gauchos following the win, just like it's a party Friday nights here at Ice in Paradise. New Friday night DJ sessions. DJ Darlow was here last night, voted best DJ in the Santa Barbara Independent. For more information about Friday night DJ sessions, visit iceinparadise.org. And Kyle, for that party, let's pick the 3 top party players in tonight's overtime win for the Gauchos.
Party players, that's an interesting way of saying it. So I'm going to say my third star tonight is going to go to someone who admittedly didn't finish the whole game. It's going to go to Cooper Spears in this one. I think Spears had his best game in a UCSB uniform in a while. He was feeling it. He was moving the puck well. I'm a little surprised that he got kicked out of the game when he did. I didn't really see the full hit contact as I did, but I thought he played a very good game. He gave Santa Clara a lot of trouble in terms of his ability to possess the puck, to control, and to really move it around the offensive zone. He appeared to be really feeling it here this evening. So Spears is going to be my somewhat off the board, but I think still a very valid third star pick.
And considering some of the issues he's had with discipline in recent games, to see his effort out there with the Mooney brothers, it was good to see him back and regularly positively driving play, driving the offense for the Gauchos. But for me, this is a rather open and shut 3-star selection. 2 of them are brothers, 1 of them is a goalie. My third star of the game, 2-point night for Kyle Mooney. He scores the first goal of the game, assists on Christian Ockpish's power play goal that ties it up. Simply unearthly at times, the way that he's able to spin and possess and drive from the outside to the in to create opportunities for the Gauchos.
A very strong showing from both the Mooney brothers. Spoiler alert, one of them is coming up a little later down my list as well, so kind of hard to avoid that if you score an overtime game-winning goal, especially after having a good game.
Somehow I think that our second star player of the game is going to be the same for each of us as well.
Probably going to be the same if you're going to mention the goaltender in the second star slot. That's going to be number 2, Frankie Nix of Santa Clara, who put up arguably the strongest goaltending performance I have seen in the ACHA so far in our 2 seasons here. Unbelievable goaltending here this evening. The Gauchos could not get a pretty one past him. All 3 of their goals here this evening were of the ugly variety, off rebounds, getting him moving laterally, just areas where he would have no chance to stop it. When the Gauchos finally did find the net when he was down, they finally got past him, but it didn't happen very often. And all the other times when it was pretty, when it was hard, when it was through traffic, he managed to stop all of it and made it look sometimes somewhat easy doing it, but otherwise fantastic performance.
And I think perhaps an underrated aspect of Nix's game, that with head coach Brian Gray coaching Santa Clara to really take away that slot area, contest everything, block as many shots as possible, take away passing lanes. It takes a goalie who is steady, is positional, and is very sharp on reading the play, and Nix showed every aspect of that tonight. Frankly, after seeing Ryan Corriveau make 48 stops in the loss against Santa Rosa on the 28th of October, it wouldn't surprise me if this is another 40-plus save performance by Nix 5 times last year he had more than 40 saves in a game for Santa Clara. He certainly kept the Broncos alive in the face of wave after wave of Gaucho pressure, a deserved number 2 star tonight.
I'm fully anticipating that save total being over 40 here this evening. We'll see when we get the full box score a little later here this evening.
And first star of the game, do we want to say it in unison?
I don't think it could be anyone else. It's got to be Kevin Mooney.
Overtime game winner.
Overtime game winner coming up huge after a night where both the Mooney brothers could have probably had 4 or 5, but just some bad bounces, some difficult calls going either way, a lot of adversity, and just some stellar goaltending just robbing them. Like I mentioned, one of them's going to be seeing those bright red and white pads in their dreams. I think it's brother Kevin that's going to be seeing those in his pad or in his dreams here. But tough game, but ultimately got the victory. That's what matters for UCSB here this evening. Coming out strong, getting the win, breaking that 4-game losing streak, resetting, really starting to push back here later this season.
And if the Moonies don't see Nix in their nightmares tonight, they'll see him again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. when the Gauchos take on Santa Clara. We'll have that game for you here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. We remind you that you can help support this student organization by getting in contact with Susan Goodale, staff advisor. Email her at susan.goodale, Goodale, at ucsb.edu, or calling 805-893-3530. Well, Kyle, it's going to be fun tomorrow. Final thoughts on tonight.
Final thoughts on tonight. A deserved win for ice hockey at UCSB. Excellent performance, controlled the vast majority of the game. Looking forward to seeing how they take what they learned here this evening, applying it to the game tomorrow in terms of what they have to do in order to get a puck behind Nix, move it well, get their full strength roster back. I believe Spears should be back tomorrow afternoon. So really looking forward to it. I think the Gauchos could very easily come out of this weekend with 2 W's.
It's going to be an entertaining one tomorrow. We thank our friends at Center Ice SB for their support of ice hockey at UCSB Action. Center Ice is a brand new hockey and figure skating retail showroom in Santa Barbara County, located in Goleta, just minutes from the Ice in Paradise facility. It is the premier destination in Central California to find your hockey and figure skating equipment and apparel. At 7127 Hollister Avenue, Suite B in Goleta. Give them a call at 805-770-7970 or by visiting them on the web at Center Ice SB, center spelled the Canadian way, R-E. Well, for our technical director, Alina Portillo, and camera operator, Jesse Gutierrez, for my color commentator, Kyle Nicolas, my name is Eric Evelhoch. It has been a pleasure to bring to you tonight's presentation of ice hockey at UCSB. It is a heart stopper. It is a nail biter. It is a 4-game losing streak breaker as Kevin Mooney plays the hero, scoring the overtime winning goal. We'll be back on the air tomorrow at 4:30 when the Gauchos play Game 2 against Santa Clara. Until then, thanks for listening and good night from Goleta. Have a splendid Sunday evening.